Hello guys, and welcome back to The Sims 4. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a speed build. And a bit of a fun speed build, a bit of a different one. We're doing a base game only home. And I tried really hard on this one. And I'll be honest with you, it fought me. This build happened over the course of like several months. And you may notice we're already starting with a shell. That's because it happened over so many months that I sort of lost the first part. Or it got mixed in here and somehow I'm confused. I don't know. This is what happens when I edit in batches. Please excuse. Usually I kind of save all the editing till the build is done, but this build literally took months and I don't know why. And it really shouldn't have. It did get forgotten a couple of times, but it also just kind of sat there like taunting me a little bit because I wanted it so bad to be good. And I think it turned out pretty good. I will say, unfortunately, in the time between when I finished the house and the screenshots, and I think a couple of times throughout this build, the game did that lovely thing where it went, you don't really want this clutter or furniture that you placed, right? Like, you couldn't possibly want these things, and started deleting stuff out from underneath me. I don't think it's because of an object limit or anything like that. I think it's just because the game sometimes does that, because it's done it to me in tiny homes before too, and you can't get that many objects in a tiny house and still have it be usable. So this is definitely a case of enjoy the process, enjoy the thought behind it, because the screenshots are missing some things, unfortunately. But it is a family home. It is set up for 2 kids and then sort of a tween and then a teenager as well as the parents. You could absolutely change that. There's 4 bedrooms. There's the master suite downstairs, which has an ensuite. And then there's 3 bedrooms upstairs with a large bathroom and a homework area, which I think turned out really cool. This build is actually kind of awesome too because it started right after we got the base game pillows from the home. Oh, what was it called? Home is where the heart is? That's not right. Whatever the login event was quite a while ago for The Sims, and we got some cool things like a dartboard. We got those really awesome base game pillows, things like that. Those pillows had just come out when I started this build. That should tell you how old it is. And while we were working on this build, the big swatch update where some of the couches got new swatches, well, a couch got new swatches, and the oven hoods got new swatches, and that was really cool because the couch I had already placed in this build and was trying to make work, and the vent hood I had as well, so I was able to recolor those. So that was really exciting. That kind of reinvigorated my want to finish this build, which made me really, really happy. And it is entirely base game, or at least it really, really should be. I hope it is. I worked really hard to make it base game. Obviously, when you do the filters and stuff, sometimes it gets a little hinky, so if I messed up, I apologize, but it probably isn't more than 1 or 2 things, so if they disappear when you download it, it's probably not the end of the world. And like I said, so much of my clutter kind of disappeared anyway, you're probably not gonna notice. I had a lot of fun putting this together, though. I was going for that sort of like 90s, very cozy, oversized vibe a little bit. The base game really kind of lends itself to that like slightly dated traditional look, so I really just kind of leaned into it pretty heavily. I went with some more traditional wallpaper, lots of traditional colors. Here you can see the original color for the couch, and a little while later you'll see us change it when we get to those swatches, which is really exciting. Put a chair in the corner, and I really wanted a fireplace, and I am always just shocked by the sort of lack of choice in our fireplaces in the base game. They are so stylized. It is so interesting to me how truly stylized they are and how hard it is to fit them in certain builds. Even like a traditional build like this, it was hard with the traditional fireplaces because they are so intense. And I don't really know why. Not really sure why we couldn't just have a normal fireplace, but then I guess thinking about it, I'm not really sure how I would describe a normal fireplace. Growing up, I had a fireplace inset into the wall. It was very 90s, but it was very cool. It was I think it was a gas fireplace, but I honestly don't know. But it was inset into the wall. It was very cool, and it put out lots of heat, and it was really lovely. Where I live now, we technically have a wood stove, but we can't use it because my mom is very, very allergic to, everything. And my mom lives with me. My mom and dad both live with me, and I obviously don't want to like make her very sick all the time, so we don't use the wood stove, which is fine because we have other options, right? We have baseboard heaters and these cool little things that are called like headless heaters, I think, or something. I don't know. They're like wall units. They're pretty cool. I've not lived in a house with them before, but I think they're pretty awesome. and they put out a lot of good heat, which I really love, and they're a lot more efficient than the baseboard heaters. The baseboard heaters put out a ton of heat, like they'll heat your house up, and I have to turn them on when it's really cold because sometimes the little like wall heaters don't do it. But those baseboard heaters, they like rack up the power bill. Holy. So they are like, we don't turn those on unless it's like in the teens or lower. But they were really nice to have when it was -10 because it's unpleasant at -10. It's just really, it's a lot at -10. I don't love it. So here in the kitchen, we went with darker tones. It's, again, a much more traditional, probably a little bit dated kitchen, but I was trying to really lean into the aesthetic the base game was giving me and still make it luxe. I did go a little bit, I don't want to say sparser, but a little bit sparser on the decor, just because I also kind of figured if you're maybe downloading a base game home, you might be a little bit newer to the game. Maybe not, I could be wrong, but I was kind of working on the assumption that maybe you wouldn't want to deal with all the routing issues that I usually give my Sims. And so I went a little sparser with the decor. I also like wanted you to be able to move into this house and make it your own to a point. So in a lot of the like living spaces, it's a little bit more showroomy. The kids' spaces are a little bit more towards their personality. But again, you could absolutely change those out really easily too. Especially like the teenagers' rooms. They're a little bit more like have a personality to them, but it would be super easy to change them out, and I really like the way they turned out. I actually really like this kitchen too. This kitchen kind of reminds me of my aunt's kitchen growing up, although she has a degree in interior design, and she changes the way her house looks like some people change pants. I'm not even joking with you. But at the time, the kitchen I remember the most, it was really pretty cabinets, really pretty, I think, walnut cabinets. But she took them down, and the lower ones, she stained them like this really pretty dark, almost black color with these gorgeous white countertops. And then she did the top in distressed white. And you've probably seen me do this on the channel before because I really think that's a beautiful look. It's a very stately look. It goes in a very certain kind of vibe, but I really think it's very pretty. And this kitchen, I think because of the white countertops and sort of dark wood, reminds me of that. Here in the office now, I'm putting lamps and stuff down. And, it was one of those where the room is probably a little bit too small for this, but I wanted the desk facing the door, sort of executive style. There's something feng shui about that, if I recall, and about the way the energy moves around, but don't quote me on that. I like the way it looks, quite frankly. And I'm always a big fan. I never do anything nefarious on my computer. People always are like, well, you don't have to worry about it if you're not doing anything nefarious. But I get like super embarrassed about like my Sims builds and stuff, even though I put them on the internet, so go figure. But I get a little self-conscious like when I'm building and such. So I love to not have my computer facing in a way where like as soon as you walk in the door, you can see what's up. Again, I don't really know why, but just like, you know, when I built, like even just looking at this one, I'm happy to show you all it, but I think it's that in the moment, because I don't know how it's going to turn out, I get a little self-conscious about it. I get a little self-conscious playing Minecraft too in the same way. I usually love the way the builds turn out, but in that moment I'm like, do I want to show people this? And the answer is usually no. So I like my computer's monitors facing in a way where you can't see them from the door. Currently, my computer monitors are in a closet, so it's not like a huge deal, but they still face out into the room, which is not my favorite, but it's fine. It is what it is. If I had my druthers, though, if I had my dream office, I would have like the executive style where I could see the door. That's the other thing, is I just don't love having my back to the door. Not my favorite thing. Especially because I listen to music a lot of times at work with noise-canceling headphones, and the amount of times I will be in my room, minding my business, and someone will need to ask me a simple, completely reasonable question, and it's full-on pandemonium because I panic because I didn't hear them walk into my room because my noise-canceling headphones are fantastical. I am not sponsored, but I need you to understand, Raycon, really, really good at what they do. Holy crap, I have the everyday earbuds. And like, I was super skeptical. I was super anti-wireless headphone because I was like, a girl needs a cord, I'm gonna lose them, which it took some getting used to, and I did drop them a fair amount of times. I have beat these poor headphones up, but my brother convinced me to get a set of wireless, and then I upgraded my phone and really needed a set of wireless because of course they took away our plugs, because I'm not gonna get on my soapbox about it, I'm not, but like, why they're taking away our ports is beyond me. If someone puts a port back in their phone, honestly, would convince me to convert. I have been a Samsung girl since the beginning, and I do stand by, I've had really good luck with them so far. Hold on a minute, knock on wood. Just in case. But why there's no headphone jack on this phone befuddles me. I am so annoyed because I use my phone predominantly to listen to music and YouTube videos. I make a phone call once a week. And honestly, sometimes not even that. I'm making a phone call once a week right now because I'm on jury duty. But honestly, if I didn't have to call in, probably wouldn't talk a lot. I use my phone for YouTube. I use my phone for music. Occasionally, I take work calls like Slack and stuff on my phone. I try not to do that, but sometimes I have to. You know how it is. Like, I never make traditional phone calls on my phone. So I need a headphone jack to do all of the non-traditional phone things on my phone that I do. I'm gonna get off my soapbox. We're in the master bedroom right now. I went with red, which, okay, let's just be real here. Red in a bedroom, terrible idea. Red is great in a dining room. Red is good in a kitchen because red increases your hunger, but red is not a calm color. Having said that, though, I liked the bed and the bed was red, so we went with red. There's no, like, magic reason for it. I went a little crazy with the pillows because I just love those pillows, and everything gets a pillow now. And if you think I'm joking, I sleep in a queen bed in real life, and about half of it is pillows. I'm not even joking with you. I have a problem. It's extended to The Sims. We've talked about this before. My real life issues with interior design always make it into The Sim. It's always too many lamps, too many pillows, too many rugs. Your girl is so obsessed with being cozy that she takes it to an extreme, and it's a bit of a problem. But I do think the bed turned out really cool here. I actually think this room turned out looking really warm and cozy, which I was surprised because red is one of my least favorite colors. And so when the bed was red, I was like, do I really want to do this? And I was like, well, you never use red, and you're doing a base game home, so it's already a challenge. And it turned out really lovely. It's actually a really beautiful room. I think it would be a very fun room to play in, if not a very restful room, but luckily our Sims don't care, so, whatever. I started working in this room. You can see I got really excited and then went, wait a minute, give it a second, I'll remember. Wait a minute, it's supposed to be base game. I really hope I swap that tile out, because if I don't, I'm gonna have to go in and fix this. Oh, good, thank you, past Amanda. I was getting concerned there for a minute. There was a couple of times that happened where I was like going along and being like, oh, this is looking really cool. And then I'd go, none of this is base game. And it's not that base game isn't good. It's just that you kind of get into like a zone when you're building, and you just, like, if the filters come off, I tend to forget, and it's just, I'm very spoiled and I have access to these things, so I use them, and you just get kind of into a groove. So that's why it's fun to challenge yourself every once in a while with base game. I'd like to do some limited pack builds too. I really want to use James Turner's little doodly-doo on his website, but I never think about it in the moment. I need to like sticky note something to my monitors. Oh, I was talking to my PM today, our project manager, and she was saying that that's one of her favorite things to do when she does on-site visitations, is to see what people have written on the sticky notes on their monitors, because that informs their day, right? You don't usually stick a sticky note to your monitor for things that don't matter, and they usually matter. And not that you want to know someone's password or anything like that. Not that you should be sticking your passwords on your monitor like that. Get a password manager or something that works for you that isn't your password on the thing it unlocks. For realsies. Anyways, she was talking about like, she pays attention to like the workflow things and stuff. Like if you have a sticky note that reminds you how to ingest feeds on your monitor because you have to do that every day and you can't remember, that's a good pain point to be iterated on, right? That kind of thing. And it got me to thinking about the sticky notes on my desk. And my sticky notes, I don't stick them to my monitor. Because it was a closet, I have where the rail used to live, like where the clothes rail used to live. There's a board there so that you could screw the rail in. And so I stick all my sticky notes to that, because that board, they cemented to the wall. That board will outlive me. So I stick all my sticky notes there. And I have a sticky note with Minecraft coordinates on it. I have a sticky note with my Xbox login on it. I just told you not to do this. Okay, it doesn't have the password. It just has the email, because I have like 12 emails. The password I know. It's the email that I can never remember. Because I don't use the email for anything else, because the email came before I was on like email, It was like an old family email. And then I have October goals, of which, looking at this now, I don't think I've completed a single one because I forgot they existed. Oops. When I'm recording this, it is October 29th. It is a 31-day month, so I have 2 days to complete all these goals, or between you and I, that sticky note could fall behind the desk and we'd never know. What do we think? I think that's what we're going to do. Anyways, that was a bit of a bird walk, and I apologize about that. Now we're upstairs, and we're working in the twins room. It doesn't have to be twins rooms. I thought it would be fun to have twins. I kind of went with both space and sports because that's kind of my go-to. I love the idea of like a little nerdier Sam and a little bit jock Sam and the best friends, but that's just the story I like to tell. And I kind of went with the idea that it's little boys in here, but this absolutely could be a little girl's room. This absolutely could be a little whoever you want them to be room. And it could be a single Sims room. You could take the bunk beds out or put something under the bunk bed, take the second desk out. Lots more play area if it's a single Sim. Or you could even put triplets in there, but with infants, why on earth would you want triplets? Oh my Lanta. Infants are such a fun addition and also the bane of my very existence in The Sims. My goodness. I love this little homework area. I had so much fun putting it together. I got to use the fun, shelving trick here that I always forget about and then struggle with or give up, and then every once in a while I remember it and it's so fun. And it's just the idea that there are certain shelves with better slots, and those slots you can then pull things off and they're at the right height to line them up on shelves that don't have slots. Like these bookshelves don't have slots. These bookshelves also aren't functional, but there are other bookshelves in the house that are, so it's not that big a deal. These are more for decor, just to make this little area a little bit more built in and cozy. And then, of course, I put a pillow down because, again, absolutely obsessed with pillows. Here's a bookshelf that is usable. I believe there's one, maybe another one in this hallway. Maybe. I could be wrong here. But there's definitely other ones in the house. I believe there's one downstairs, and I think there's a couple in the kids' rooms. So you're good. Because bookshelves they're not really Sim-specific. So it's as long as there's one in the house, your Sims are fine. You know, as long as there's one reachable in the house, you're all good. This hallway does end up looking a little museum-esque, but I never know what to do in my hallways. How do you guys decorate your hallways? I'm always a little bit confused on how to do that. I'm very aware of my ahs and ums today, too. I just said and I've been umming and ahhing a lot lately, but I'm especially aware of it today. I used to get in trouble. I went to a school that really took that seriously, and for a long time I didn't ah and and then as I've gotten older, and funnily enough, as I've gone into professional, like in the professional realm, I ah and a lot more. And I'm not really sure why that is. I've been working on it, but I don't think we're going to see a difference, especially because I'm very relaxed talking to y'all. So my ahs and ums come out a lot more because we're more like friends chatting than anything, you know? Here we're working in the big upstairs bathroom. This is, I imagine, to be the kids' bathroom, but it's the second full bathroom in the house. There's 2.5 bathrooms. There's the ensuite, there's this one, and then there's a powder downstairs. And I can't remember if I actually got the powder on camera. So we'll have to see. I should also say colloquially, where I live, powder room is synonymous with half bath, which means like there's a toilet and a sink, but not an actual bathing space. There's no shower or tub. I've said that before, and people have been like, what is a powder room? I guess I've heard it called wash closets too. Basically, it's just a room with a toilet and a sink. There's no bathing supplies in there. There's no shower or tub or anything like that. I think it'd probably be something a little bit more common in, like, I see it in like Japanese home tours where the like bathroom is separate from the toilet and sink area. In America we don't do that, but we do have half baths where it's just the toilet and sink, but there's no adjoining bathroom area. There's no like washing up space elsewhere. It's just a half. So just I always say that, and then I'm like, I wonder if people have any idea what I'm talking about. And the answer is maybe. This is the young ladies' room, although it could be a sim of any kind. It could be in here. And again, I was kind of thinking tween. I had characters in my head. That's why I'm like giving you like the down low. This little one's room, I was hoping it would read like kid transitioning to teen. I think we got there. It also, I wanted it to be a little bit more put together because I always have these like Sims in my head that have very strong personalities, and this little Sim was very tidy because her brothers are very much not, was kind of the idea in this family. But this would also make a great room for like a mother-in-law. Grandma could come stay. That would be kind of fun. Honestly, if I was redoing this house, I think I would add another bedroom somewhere, and I would leave the family of 6 as it is, and then add a grandma, and the chaos would be amazing. But then there'd be 3 adults in the house, so, you know, hopefully it would be like a little bit easier. And a dog. We'd need a dog. Maybe this household that I'm inventing in my head like is really rapidly becoming an MCC command center. My brain died there, sorry. Where you can extend the amount of Sims in your house. 8 is good. 10 always feels like it would be better, just because for some reason when I try to like do scenarios that are like existent in real life or based on a thing, I always end up needing 2 more slots. And I don't know why that is. 10 feels like it would be a much, and I'm not complaining. It's been 8 for forever, but 10 always feels like would be perfect, because like when I tried to build the house that I stayed in for most of my senior year, I lived with, at one point I lived with like 14 other people. That was a lot. It was not that big a house. But most of the time we lived with around 10 other people. That was also a lot. That was too many people for a 3-bedroom house. Oh, that was too many people for a 3-bedroom house. But at one point I was like, maybe it'd be really fun to make a Sims version of that chaos and see how it would play out in The Sims. But I needed 10 Sims. I actually needed 10 Sims and a dog and 2 cats. So I needed 13. And then when we had 13, I needed 16. So anyways, easily distracted. This is the little purple room is what it ends up being. A little more femininely styled purple room for a sim of your choice. I struggled with the wall coverings, the wall decor in this room is what I was going for. I really struggled with how to get I almost think I went too far looking back at it now, but I really wanted the walls to feel full. I didn't want it to feel very empty, and I struggled with that. And then of course I had to put in the chair. Everyone I know who has either a desk chair or a sitting chair in the room, I have a desk chair. Well, actually I have a dining chair that I stole. It's a long story. It becomes the chair. It becomes the thing that all of your clothes that live on. And it's always the clothes that are too dirty for the closet, but too clean for the hamper, right? Like, I can get another wear out of these jeans, so they're not quite dirty enough for the hamper, but I don't want them touching my clean jeans because they're not clean jeans anymore, right? That kind of thing. So there's the chair. Also, I love that the pillow perfectly matches the chair. That made it so chic. So chic. I mean, it is bright purple, which sort of takes the chicness down a little bit, but I loved that. I was like, that's such a nice look. It looks like it's part of the chair, and it makes that chair, to me, much more usable, which was very exciting. Oh my goodness. I almost odd and ummed again, and I caught myself. Oh, I was saying that I odd and ummed. I was saying that I have been thinking about it a lot more today because I had a very big presentation at work. And it's really funny because public speaking in a, like, physical room, so, like, in-person public speaking, doesn't bother me. I actually have words in it. I don't get spooked. It doesn't bother me. I know, I'm a weirdo, I'm an alien, it's fine. I actually enjoy public speaking, especially when I'm passionate about the topic. It's great. Zoom presentations squig me out, and I don't know why. And I've struggled with them for so long, and it's so frustrating. And it's getting worse and not better, which is really annoying. So I had a presentation today, and everyone was like, you got this. I have a really supportive team. They were like, you got this. You're going to do great. Don't wig yourself out. And I actually think I did okay. I talked about 40 miles a minute, but like I do that. You see a little bit of it here. I don't wig myself out as bad on YouTube nearly, although I have had a couple times recently where I've been like squigging myself out a little bit about doing these speed builds, which is weird because I've been doing them for years, but I had those moments of like, I can't do this. It's very easy for me to accidentally like hyperventilate when I'm doing this. More information than you need. But I was really proud of myself today is the point I was making. I was really proud of myself for getting through the presentation and sounding like an adult. Because I had a lot to say and had a lot of important things to say. And my coworkers are so sweet and they're always like, we know you're smart, but like sometimes you don't sound smart. I'm like, no, I know. Right? And isn't that the worst when you're like, I am passionate and knowledgeable and my brain won't let me show you that. But I was really proud of myself today. I went ahead and built a custom bed here. It does work. I had no problems with it. Every time I do something like this, I'm like, that's not going to work. I had no issues with it. Please let me know if you have issues with it. I just wanted the wood color to be different on that bed. I wanted that swatch without that color. That's all. So I just did a very light custom headboard and footboard, and then I end up doing something different with the footboard. And you can see there's a Fraser pony in this build, which should tell you how many months this spanned. This poor build languished a little bit. I imagined the sim in this room being pretty into music, so I gave him a couple different guitars and a place to play, even though I think sims predominantly play standing up. I went with orange and blues, and a lot of grays, which is funny because you know my stance on grays. If you don't know my stance on grays, I don't like gray. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. Everything was evergreen and gray. and I'm just over it. I actually think gray is a beautiful color, but I am so over it. I just don't understand how if you live in a gray place, you feel the need to paint everything gray. Like, if I lived in a gray place and I had a say, I would paint it like yellow. My current house, I live in a very sunny area of the world right now, and I love it. My house is yellow, and it's fantastical. And I never want it to be another color because I love my little yellow house. So yeah, we jumped topics like crazy there. I apologize. I decided to start talking about the build in the middle of telling you how proud of myself I am because I gave a pretty fantastic presentation at work, if I do say so myself. And I'm gonna ride that high for a while, which is not something you needed to know, but I'm just like, I'm real proud of this presentation. For those of you who are in the tech world, especially in development, I was also doing a 20-minute presentation on improving our test suite, which for those of you who aren't in is like the most boring part of software development, when you have to test your code and make sure it works, and then other people have to test your code to make sure it works before you put it out. Testing can be incredibly boring, and I somehow became the developer on our team who has to champion the new test suites and build it and design it and do all of that stuff, and I'm trying to make it fun. And you know what's not fun? PowerPoint presentations about test suites. But okay, real talk, gonna brag a little bit. My slide deck was dope. My slide deck was pretty stinking fancy, and I actually got kudos on it. I'm quite proud of myself. Thank you. Okay, I'm done bragging, I promise. I ended up putting a TV in here, and I put a little table on the bed because this room kind of just screamed for like almost like a video game area. I was gonna put video games in. I ended up not, and I can't remember why. I think it was maybe a slotting issue, or I was worried about it not working with the TV because I set the TV on. I can't remember why I didn't. I ended up not. But you could probably put video games in, and you could probably use a different TV and get it to work a little bit better. But that's kind of what I imagined. Sims can watch TV in bed now, so that does actually work. It's pretty exciting. And it kind of fit that, like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Because my brain kind of went teenage wasteland, but that's not really what that is. But you know, that like almost Ferris Bueller vibe a little bit in that room. So yeah, I did a teenager, a kind of a preteen, and then two little ones. And you could really easy modify the kids room to be toddlers. The preteens room is basically already a kids room. The teenagers room could actually be a kids room, but it's a little bit mature. It's like not really set up for kids, but you throw some toys in where the guitar is, and they could all modify really easy. Here I'm just doing a little bit of basic landscaping on the house. Had some fun with some planter boxes and lots of plants in the yard and on the porch. I went with a brick front walkway there, and I think I did terrain paint, but I have been experiencing the terrain paint bug, so even if this does manage to get fixed and put up on the gallery, the terrain paint will probably be gone. I went a little nuts with the flowers, but I've been really enjoying just putting lots of fluffy flowers in my builds. This was around the time too, where I went through that phase with the garden home build where just like the gardens overflowing. I pared it back mostly because like my beloved garden, Maiden's Hair and the other one that I'm drawing a blank on the name aren't available to me in base game. So I did pare it back a little bit, but it is a very fluffy landscape and I think it's quite pretty. I believe I also put some things for the kids out in the back. I believe I put a set of swings or possibly monkey bars. I can't remember which one I do, but there's play stuff for the kids. If I were to do this build again without it being base game, first of all, let me know if you would want to see that, like a run out. That could be kind of fun. I think this house would really be cool with a tree house. This feels like the kind of house that needs a dog and a tree house. Neither of those are available to us in the base game, but it would be really cool. Okay, I must put monkey bars in. Fantastic. I could not remember. Do we have swings in the base game? Now that I've said that, I'm certain we have swings in the base game. But I'm just concerned enough I'm going to renege on that and say I'm not certain. Oh, goodness gracious. And I did end up putting this sort of flagstone path in, which I think is quite pretty. And these cute little flowers, they're little path lights, so they light up kind of cute, which I really enjoy. I don't do a lot of outdoor lighting, and I really should get better at it because it really does make the house look so nice. But here we're in the screenshots, and I've been talking your ear off and doing a lot of bragging, honestly. So I think I'm going to leave this here. Here you can see I did have a mat there, and it's missing. See if you can figure out what's missing and what's not. And if you want to share with me what you've noticed, let me know, and then that'll make it easier for me to eventually put this up. Or I might just put it up as is, and y'all can decorate to your own heart's content. I think it's a pretty cute little house. I really enjoyed like the can lights and some of the older style lighting. I think it doesn't scream base game, which is getting easier to do as the base game goes on. But anyways, guys, I think I'm going to let you go here. I hope you're having a great day and you're feeling loved. And if you're not feeling loved, please know that I love you. I'm glad you exist. I'm glad you're here hanging out. You make the world a better place just by being you. And if you don't believe me when I say that, just know that I've been looking forward to chatting with you all day long. It's one of the highlights of my day. Honestly, guys, I will talk to you soon. I think the next thing, let's see, if this is a speed build, the next thing we'll do is probably a Minecraft build or Minecraft something. We're in the desert right now. I don't know what will be when this comes out, but I hope you're having a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, love you. Bye. Mwah.